Stanford is absolutely correct. Yes, 140 to 40 as we now say hello to our two captains. First, Nathaniel Simmons, and a senior over at Lancaster Country Day. And you have done some community service, but in a foreign country, or a couple foreign countries, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I spent the last 2 summers doing community service in Latin America. I spent 1 summer in Costa Rica and then the following summer in the Dominican Republic.
Was this a graduation requirement at Lancaster Country Day?
No, it's completely extracurricular.
Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing with us. And moving on, we're saying hello to Dan Russo, and you're a senior over at Warwick, and it's great to have you back. And I know you said you're still deciding on which college to choose, but you know what you want to major in.
Yes, that's right. I want to major in biochemistry, and I want to go pre-med, hopefully go to med school, be a doctor.
Any kind of particular medical field you want to pursue?
I've been thinking a lot about surgery and pathology.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, Dan and Nate, let's put you two one-on-one. I ordered that they use any means necessary, including illegal means, to accomplish this goal, he said. But the President of the United States can never admit that, he also said. Which president admitted this on a tape, Nate?
Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon admitted this on a tape recording made in 1973. It's the removal and microscopic examination of tissue from a living person for diagnosis of a disease, often cancer. What is this medical procedure, Dan?
Biopsy?
Biopsy is absolutely correct. And finally, after a slave revolt in 1801, it became the second independent nation in the New World. Nate?
Haiti.
Haiti is the Caribbean republic on the island of Hispaniola. 160 to 50 as we say hello to Ellen Kladsky. Is that right,
Kladke?
Kladke. And you're a junior over at Lancaster Country Day. And you also joined Andrew Berkowitz, your peer, to that trip to Spain. Do you have any favorite memories that you can share?
Yeah, I really enjoyed going to the Prado Museum, Art Museum in Madrid, and seeing the works of Goya and Velázquez and other famous Spanish artists.
Now, were you able to communicate well with people in the northern part of the country? It's because of Catalan and...
Well, we were only in Barcelona in the north, and almost everyone there speaks Spanish as well as Catalan, so it was pretty easy.
And certainly English, of course. They do speak a lot of English over there as well. Thanks for joining us here today. We're so glad to have you back. Austin Carter is in grade 12, and we're so pleased to have you back. And your parents must be so excited about your future plans, because it seems like everything is handed to you.
Well, I think I work pretty hard. I actually...
Well, say this in a good way. Tell why I'm bringing this up is because your college tuition...
Yeah, okay. I actually just won the Boatwright Scholarship for the University of Richmond, which is a 4-year full tuition scholarship that they just hand out to a few students. So
That's
I'm
wonderful.
pretty excited.
Congratulations,
Thank
Mr.
you.
and Mrs. Carter, I'll tell you. Austin and Ellen, let's put you two one-on-one, our two ladies here together. Here we go. On May 4th, 1970, Jeffrey Miller, William Schroeder, Sandra Scheuer, and Allison Krauss were shot and killed by the Ohio National Guard. At what university were they students, Ellen?
Kent State.
At Kent State they were students, yes. He introduced the terms introversion, archetype, and collective unconscious into the psychological vocabulary. Ellen, again.
Freud?
No, Freud is incorrect. What is this Swiss student of Freud, Austin? Or who is the student of Freud? And it was Carl Jung. And finally, this French word refers to a relaxation of tense relations between countries. What is this 7-letter word, Austin?
A détente?
Détente is absolutely correct. Yes, 170 to 60. So we say hello to our final students, Noah Hindis, and you're a senior over at Lancaster Country Day. And in January, let me start out. A lot of people talk about Model UN, but you went to the big international Model UN.
I did.
Where was this at?
It was at The Hague, hence the Hague International Model United Nations. I was on General Assembly 4, which deals with decolonization and other political considerations representing New Zealand.
And how many American students attended this?
Not many, but there were 4,000 from around the world.
And it was handled in English, though? English was the central language?
Yes.
Yes, very good. We're lucky to speak English, no doubt. All right, moving over to Warwick, and we'll say hello to Clarissa O'Connor, sophomore at Warwick, and it's great to have you here. And last time we talked about you enjoying many languages, but language is so important to you because you're an avid reader.
Yes.
Do you read constantly? Is it one of those things you always have a book?
Yeah, pretty much. I always have a book with me.
Well, for example, what is something that you read recently that you might be able to recommend?
Right now, I'm reading The Great Railway Bazaar by Paul Thoreau.
Oh, and you'd recommend that?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, Clarissa and Noah, let's put you two one-on-one. In her autobiography, Norma McCorvey writes about her role in this landmark 1973 Supreme Court decision. What case was the subject of that Clarissa?
Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade. Is that still controversial decision? Of course, Norma McCorvey was the plaintiff called Jane Roe. This common piece of lab equipment produces a hot flame that leaves no soot on test tubes. What is it called, Clarissa?
Bunsen burner.
Bunsen burner, correct again. And finally, he was a secret snitch for the FBI while he was head of the Screen Actors Guild from 1947 to 1952 and from 1959 to 1960. Who was this future U.S. president? Noah.
Reagan.
Reagan, Ronald Reagan is absolutely correct. 180 to 80. We're now going to pick up the pace and play today's 60-second team lightning round. All right, Dan, your team is behind at this point by a solid 100 points, so you've got your work cut out for you, but you can do it with these quizzes. We have names in the news in 95, 11-letter words, or CDs. Names in the news in 95, 11-letter words, or CDs.
We're going to go with CDs.
CDs it is. Okay, CD are 2 consecutive letters of the alphabet. It's also the abbreviation for each of the following people, places, and things. So each answer must include a C and the D. Now, Dan, I take your answer as the team's answer. John, Austin, and Clarissa are standing by ready to help you along. We need 60 seconds on the clock. And we'll begin now. CO2.
Carbon dioxide.
That's correct. He published The Origin of Species in 1859.
Charles Darwin.
He's the one, yes. If you play a CD player, this is the CD.
Compact disc.
That's correct. He was president of France from 1959 to 1969.
Charles de Gaulle.
He's the one, yes. This presidential retreat is in the mountains of Maryland.
Camp David.
That's correct. He wrote Martin Chuzzlewit, Nicholas Nickleby, and David Copperfield.
Charles Dickens.
He's the one, yes. You might take this lozenge to soothe the sore throat.
Cough drop.
That's correct. The lawyer who defended Eugene Debs and John Scopes.
Keep going.
Pass.
Clarence Darrow. If you have money invested in a CD, it's this CD.
Cash deposit.
No, certificate of deposit. The noble title of Bram Stoker's most famous creation.
Count Dracula.
Yeah, it's the one, yes. The French composer of Clair de Lune and La Mer.
Debussy.
Claude Debussy.
Claude Debussy, yes. This theory explains how Africa was once joined to South America.
Continental drift.
That's correct, yes. This fashion designer's CD monogram is on purses, perfume, and scarves.
Dior. Christian Dior.
Christian Dior.
That's correct, yes. For several fractions, the number into which all the bottom parts can be divided.
Common denominator.
Common denominator.
That's correct. These peaks in the Rocky Mountains form the watershed of North America, and that was continental divide. You guys did well done. That was very exciting. 12 correct. So 120 points came your way. Good job. All right. Okay, Lancaster County Day. We have names in the news in 95 or 11-letter words.
News in 95.
Names in the news in 95. For better or worse, they made headlines in 1995. So for 10 points each, identify these names in the news in 1995. Nate, I take your answer as the team's answer. Jonathan, Ellen, and Noah are standing by ready to help you along. 60 seconds on the clock, and we'll begin now. This former football star was on trial for 2 murders. He's the one. Yes, this queen called on her son Charles to get a divorce.
Elizabeth II.
That's correct. This pope visited New York City in October.
John Paul.
John Paul, yes. He became the new president of France.
Jacques Chirac.
Jacques Chirac, yes. He suffered a broken neck and injured spinal cord after being thrown from his horse. Christopher Reeve, yes. In November, he became the first U.S. president to visit Northern Ireland.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, yes. The owner of TBS and TNT failed to buy NBC.
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner, yes. Kwasi Mafumi was chosen to head the civil rights group.
NAACP.
NAACP, yes. He organized a Million Man March in Washington, D.C.
Louis Farrakhan.
He's the one, yes. This Speaker of the House was investigated for ethics violations.
Newt Gingrich.
Newt Gingrich, yes. This general decided not to run for president. In 2001, he became Secretary of State.
Colin Powell.
Colin Powell, yes. This president of Russia was hospitalized 4 times with heart trouble.
Boris Yeltsin.
He's the one, yes. In November, this Israeli prime minister was assassinated.
Yitzhak Rabin.
Yes, that's correct. Robert Haas succeeded Rita Dove in this honorary literary position. That was poet laureate. Well done, Nate. 13 correct. So 130 points came your way, 310 to 200. Still anyone's game as I revealed today's bonus Brainbuster category, and that's sculptors. Our teams will wager from 0 to 50 points based on their knowledge of sculptors while you watch these messages.